Hello guys and welcome back to my channel Interview with Bunny, and we are back with another video on our system designing fundamental playlist. And the topic of the system designing fundamental that we will be discussing today is called as a network protocol. So in our last few videos, what we have learned, we have learned that what is a client, what is a server, and how a client or the server gets connected over the internet, and how we uniquely identify a server or a client with the help of an IP. So IP is nothing but a unique address of a machine by which we connect it to the internet. So I hope you guys have already gone through my previous video and you are clear with this basic concept. And in our last video, we have discussed about the DNS. So that are some of the topics that we have discussed in our earlier video. Now, since we already know that what is the client server and how we do the IP resolution with the help of the DNS protocol, now the main thing is like we need to communicate between the client and the server. So right now what we know, here we have a client and here we have a server, and for this server we have this IP address. For example, this is the IP address, means we know everything by which we can communicate from the client to the server. But the main important thing is like how do we communicate between the client and the server, means so for example, whenever you are talking with your friend, the way you talk is different. Whenever you are talking to the manager, it is different. Or whenever you are talking with an unknown person, the way you communicate is altogether different. You have to first know that person, you have to know that which language they speak. So there are some set of rules only by knowing which we can communicate with a particular person. Similarly, over the internet, when a client or a server communicate with each other, there are some set of rules that we have to follow, and these rules are nothing but what we call as a protocol. Means there are some standardized rules that we have to follow so that different computers or different devices that are connected to the internet can understand the same language, whether it is a device that runs iOS or it is runs a Windows device. So there can be different operating systems that are running on the device. So irrespective of whatever the native language or native software architecture they are following, there are a set of protocols that we have to follow so that the communication can happen across the internet. And this set of rules we are talking about can be defined by a very simple model which we call as a OSI model. So this is the standardized way of how a communication can be made between a client and the server. The full form of this OSI is Open System Intercommunication. So in system designing, to understand that how a client and the server speak with each other, means how it requests some data and how the server responds some data, we have to know some basic of this OSI model. So since we are not the network engineer, knowing the OSI model in detail is actually not necessary. We have to only understand few of the concept of the OSI model, few of the terminologies, and few of the modules that are used on a particular layers of the OSI model, so that during the designing of a huge architecture, we can take the call that on which layer we should use which protocol, or based on some fundamental understanding, we can take the right call which architecture to choose. So let's first understand this OSI model, but believe me, as usual, I will try to explain this entire OSI model in a very simple term so that it will be very easy for you to memorize and also understand that what is actually happening beneath the scene. So what I will do here also, I will give you a small example or a small analogy by which you can completely get an idea that what this OSI model all about. I hope that is clear. But before going into the analogy of the OSI model, what I want to tell that OSI model is nothing but a complete protocol which are divided into 7 layers. So let's first understand that what are the 7 layers that we have in our OSI model. So as I was telling you, the OSI model can be divided into 7 layers. The first one is the application layer, means where the application actually talks. So whenever you are opening Google or Chrome, wherever the application is talking with the internet, so that is nothing but where the application is deployed. So this is the application layer. Then we have the presentation layer. After that we have the session layer. The next is the transport layer. After that we have the networking layer. After that we have the data link, and at the very last we have the physical layer. So let's first understand this OSI model with the help of a very simple analogy. So to understand the OSI model with the help of an analogy, let's take an example that I live at Bangalore and my sister lives at some different place. Let's take an example, she lives at Kolkata. Clear? So that is the basic assumption that we will be taking. And what is the action item that I want to do? So for example, it is her birthday and I want to gift her something on her birthday. So what I will do? I will just pack the thing from Bangalore and I will do a courier service from Bangalore to Calcutta, where the gift will get delivered at her home address. Clear? So that is the exact scenario that we will see over here, and we will see that with that understanding how we can understand this OSI model. So as I was telling you in the analogy, that the analogy is I live at Bangalore and my sister Priya lives at Calcutta. Clear? And I want to gift a sari on her birthday. That is the scenario that we will be solving. So what we do whenever we try to give something to our friends or family, what we do? First we think that, or we decide that what we actually need to give. So for example, here I have decided to give her a sari, and along with that I want to also give a handwritten card by wishing and a happy birthday. So that is the basic gift that I want to deliver to Calcutta. Clear? So whatever we are doing at the very initial stage, that is actually happening on the very front end of our application layer. So for example, you are opening Google Chrome or anything, so that is the first screen with which you are interacting, where you are taking some decision, where you are liking the post or somehow. So whatever the things that are actually happening with the user, all these things are part of our first layer, that is the application layer of our OSI model. I hope this is clear. So the first layer is nothing but our application layer, where we decide that what you actually want to do. Clear? Now the next layer of the OSI model is the presentation layer, where we format the message which we want to actually deliver over the internet. So for example, whenever you are sending a gift to your sister in some native language or whatever the language my sister speaks, so for example, she understands Marathi or Bengali, so whatever the native language she understands, I will try to message with that language. So that is the first step what I will do. And whenever you are actually writing that message based on the networking, you are actually doing the translation or formatting. Means over the internet, when you are sending a packet or whenever you are sending a message, on the very first step on the presentation layer, you are first translating the message or you are doing a formatting of the message. I hope that is clear. Now the next thing is like you will fold the sari neatly and wrap it in a tissue paper or with the help of a wrapping paper. So that is nothing but the encoding which we are doing with a message. Clear? Now the next thing is like we will put it in a gift box and we will seal it. So that is the standard way of how we send a package or send a gift to our friends or family. So that is the standard format or a standardization of how to send a message over the internet. And then what we do, we securely wrap that thing with the help of a bubble wrap, so that the gift or the message that you are trying to send to your friend or the family remains protected and private. And that is why here we are doing a bubble wrap of our gift, which is nothing but we are doing a compression or the protection of the message that we are sending. Clear? Now the last step what I want to do, for example, I want to send her some message that is very much private between us. I will give a secret message or wish inside which only she understands, and that is what we does with the process of encryption. So whatever the logic of how we are sending a message, means doing a formatting, doing an encoding, then we are doing a standardization, then we are doing a compression, and then we are doing an encryption. All these things of preparing a message before sending or preparing a gift before delivery are done on our sixth layer, that is the presentation layer, where we actually format it properly, the message that we want to deliver. I hope this is clear that what the presentation layer actually does. Now once we have done all the packing and everything, the next thing is like we have to actually send that package. And how do we send? We normally do it with the help of some courier service. It can be Blue Dart, it can be deliveries. There are a lot of courier service that are available in India. So let's take an example. We want to do it with the help of the Blue Dart service. So what I will do, I will first go to the Blue Dart office, and there I will give the details of our address where I want to send the package. So what we normally do, we write at the top the to means whom we want to send the package, and we give the complete address, the pin code and everything to whom we want to send, and at the very end we give the from means from where it is getting delivered. So there I will give my address, so that in case the gift get misplaced or it cannot be delivered correctly, it will get returned to myself. So that is the main process that we do in our courier office. That all these things in terms of networking is done in the session layer, means before sending the package or before sending the message from one server to another, we first establish a connection between the two, and then only we send the package or we send the message. So this connection that we establish between the two server or between the client and the server is actually handled by the session layer, which determine that till what time the link will be open. For example, I want to keep on sending the data to our particular server, then there will be a long connection that will get established. Or if I just want to send a bits of information, then only a short connection will get established between the client and the server. So based on the request or based on the data that we are sending, the session management actually happens, and all the session management is taken care by the session layer of the OSI model. I hope this is clear that what is the fifth step or the fifth layer of the OSI model actually does. Now once we have decided that we will send the data with the help of the Blue Dart, now the next thing is like we have to check that what are the subscription plan that are present over there. So for example, Blue Dart have many subscription. For example, there is a premium service, there are some standard surface mail. So there are a lot of category by which you can send or receive a data. So for example, I'm going with a premium service. Then what actually happens on a premium service, let's take an example. They give you a tracking ID where you can track the particular package on each and every moment, and in case there is a failure in sending the message, there will be some retry to send it perfectly at a particular destination. Similarly, there is a standardized subscription, for example, which is a cheaper model but a faster way of communication, but it does not guarantee that whether the data or whether the package you are sending will reach the destination or not. So it will not give you a complete guarantee that the package that you are sending will definitely reach the destination, but it will be a cheaper option and as well as a faster option. So based on your choice that how you want to send the package or you want to send the message, you have to take the call. And whenever we are telling that we want to go with a premium service where we need a 100% confirmation that the package need to be sent, at that time we go with the TCP model of the networking. Similarly, whenever we want to send the data quickly but we do not need that guarantee that the data reach to the destination or not, then at that time we go with the UDP model of the networking. So these are some of the components that are there on the transport layer of the OSI model. So on the fourth layer of the OSI model, means on the transport layer, we actually choose that by which protocol we want to send the data to our destination, whether we want a reliable solution or we need a faster solution. So I hope you got the idea that why these technical things you need to understand before selecting a particular transmission model. So for example, you are telling your interviewer that we want to go with a UDP connection, but at that time obviously your interviewer will ask you that why you need to choose UDP over TCP. So at that time you should give a complete answer that what is the difference between a UDP and a TCP, what are the pros and cons over there, and based on that you have to tell that why you take the call of sending the data with the help of the UDP rather than TCP. So to understand this bit of theoretical knowledge is actually critical before doing a complete system design. I hope this is clear that why we need to understand this OSI model. Now moving to our next level, that is the layer 3, where we actually give the address. So right now what we have done, we have gone to the courier service, for example DTDC. After that we have choose that which package I want to choose from their service. Now the next thing is like whatever the address on which I want to send the data comes over here. But in networking there is a small difference. Instead of giving the complete address, we need something else, and that is we need to give the IP address of the destination. So for example, I want to send a package from point A to point B. So point A will become the sender address and point B will become the receiver address. So both the IP address that we are mentioning for sending and receiving a data comes into our network layer of the OSI model. And right now, I hope in our previous video, you just got a brief understanding that what is an IP address, how it actually looks, and how we map a particular IP address to a server. So in our next video also, we will see in detail what is an IPv4, what is an IPv6. So in our last video, we have just given a small introduction of this IPv4 and the IPv6, but in our next video, we will see in depth. But right now, what we are telling, that whenever you are sending a packet or sending a data or sending a message over the internet, all this communication or wherever the IP is associated is taken care by this network layer. I hope this is clear right now. Now the next thing is like, you have given the package to your courier service. Now it is the responsibility of the courier service to send the package from Bangalore to Calcutta. Now once the package gets delivered to Calcutta, then it is the responsibility of the local courier office at Calcutta to deliver the package on the particular location of the home. So this will not be Mumbai, rather it will be Kolkata or Calcutta where we are actually delivering the message. Now once the package finally reaches the Calcutta, what the delivery boy will do, he will only look at the address where he need to send the package. So he will be focused on the two field where we are sending the package, means whom the package is actually intended to send. He is not bothered about who have sent the package. So he does not know about the Bangalore, which city it came from, but he knows everything about Calcutta where it need to be delivered, means all the lanes and the street of Calcutta. And once he sees that the delivery address mentions some apartment name with the flat number and all these things, he will understand that actually which building he need to deliver the package. Now, if you look carefully on a particular address, an address can have many components. So, for example, we give the zip code on the address. After that, we give the building number, the flat number, and everything. Now, the flat number that we are giving for a particular package delivery, that is nothing but the MAC address or the machine address where the final package need to be delivered. So in terms of networking, the message or the package that you want to send went to your local network or local ISP, but from there the router or the particular building where I have to send the message gets computed or determined in this layer, and that is the data link layer. I hope this is clear that how we have sent the message from Bangalore to Calcutta and how in the networking we are sending the message from one device into another following the entire OSI model. Now the last step or the last layer of the OSI model is the physical layer, where all the physical things which are required for networking, for example the copper wire, the LAN cable, the optical fiber, all these things, all the hardware that gets necessary for sending a package or sending the message comes into the last step of our OSI model, and that is in the physical layer of our OSI model. I hope this is completely clear that how we send a message from one device to another following the complete OSI model. But in the real life, we have a bit different implementation. Means though we study this OSI model in detail to understand that how a package get delivered from a point A to point B, but the protocol or the standard that actually we follow in the real life is called as a TCP IP model, which is nothing but a form of the OSI model. Means everything remains the same, but over here in the TCP IP model, the number of layers is only 4 rather than the 7 layer of the OSI model. So I hope you got a thorough understanding that what is an OSI model and how we can send a package from one data point to other with the help of this OSI model or with the help of the TCP IP model. Now let me share you some more important things that will be helpful for you to understand the OSI model. So this is nothing but a snapshot of my website where I normally upload all the theoretical notes and everything for you guys so that you can refer it in the future. And here, with respect to the system designing, as I was telling you, it is not necessary for you to understand complete OSI model in detail. Rather, we need to know only 3 layers of OSI model where we actually deal while designing a particular system. And the 3 layers are nothing but the level 7 that is the application layer, the level 4 that is the transport layer, and the last level is the network layer that is the level 3 of the OSI model. So these three layers are the main important layer of the OSI model where the interviewer will ask you the question. Now on each and every layer there are some of the components that you need to understand. So for example, in our layer 3 we have the IP address which we have discussed a bit in our past video. Similarly, in the layer 4, we have few of the idea like the TCP, UDP and the quick. And thereafter, we have the 7th layer where we have the HTTP, HTTPS, WebSocket and gRPC. So these are the few of the terms that or few of the components of the networking of how we communicate or send the data from one computer to another, means from the client to the server. So all these things we will be discussing in detail in our next video where we will see in detail that how all these things actually works over the internet and how it is important for your system designing interview. So see you on our next video where we will be discussing the two most important concepts, that is the IPv4 and the IPv6 in detail. So let's see you on our next video. But before moving forward, if you have liked this video, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so that you never miss an update from my side and you are always ready for your next interview. So see you on our next video. Thank you.